Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we are here on the island of St. Vincent at their international airport, and we are gonna be taking this lovely ATR-42 over to the island of Barbados. Of course, this is a classic LIAT livery ATR-42. This is an aircraft they used to fly all over the Caribbean. I believe there's still one in this livery parked up behind the hangar in Antigua right now. We see a couple of aircrafts parked back there. A jet, looks like a Twin Otter, and very nice. So we are going to be taking this ATR-42 to Barbados, and we will be using Beyond ATC today. So let's jump in. All right, so here we are inside our aircraft. We're gonna go ahead and start getting this baby powered on. Jump to the overhead panel. Let's get the batteries turned on. And let's request a GPU from GSX. How's that sound? Additional services, request a GPU. All right, let's get that going. That should be on its way over. There goes our lovely GPU. Getting connected. Alright, pretty soon we should have external power available to us. But of course, this aircraft is an interesting one. We might have to turn it on in the EFB anyway to get some power. All right, so let's do that. Let's get some DC power here on the EFB. And back to our overhead. Now we have external power available. Let's go ahead and take the external power. And the rest of our aircraft starts coming to life here. Looking good. So like I said, we are going to be flying from here in St. Vincent over to the island of Barbados in our lovely LIAT ATR-42. So let's get the show on the road. Let's go ahead and import our flight plan here. All right, flight plan has been pulled. Let's go ahead and set the fuel, set the flight plan. That's all good. All right, here is our aircraft coming to life. Looking good so far. All right, let's come down here to our flight box. We are leaving TVSV, leave runway 4. But before we do that, let's get Beyond ATC online. Let's tune center, let's tune tower here. And let's request IFR departure. All right, let's tune tower here, and let's request IFR clearance from St. Vincent.
LIAT 022 ready for IFR clearance to Grantley, Adams.
LIAT 022, Argyle Tower. Expect runway 04, go to 1, Alpha departure. Initial climb to flight level 060. Squawk 1724.
All right, let's go ahead and
go to 1 Alpha departure. Squawk 1724, LIAT 022.
LIAT 022, readback correct. Call me back when ready for start or taxi.
All right, sweet.
Roger that, LIAT 022.
So we're gonna be taking runway 04 on departure. Go to A, go to 1A, no transition. Let's put that in the box. Let's go down next. Flight plan seems okay for now. We'll leave it like this and execute that. All right, that's all good. We'll set up the arrival once we get over to Barbados. That's all good. Let's get some lights going on our overhead. So we have power there. Get the fuel pumps turned on. Let's get the nav light and logo lights coming on. Let's set the seatbelt sign, no smoking sign. So far, so good. Not ready to arm that just yet. Get some lights going in here. All right, so far, so good here. All good. Let's get our main oxygen supply going. All right. let's come down here and switch to this mode, and let's jump down to the MCDU. Let's go next. Oh, wrong mode. Alright, let's go previous, next. Alright, our flight plan looks good. Looks good to me. Let's go FMS, let's go initialize. Let's go to weight. So the weights are all in the box that came from the EFB. That's good. Let's go back. Performance, everything's good in here. We're gonna climb to, I believe, 13,000 feet today. So let's get that in here for our cruise altitude. All right, that all looks good. Let's jump back to our flight plan. So far, so good. All right, so she said we're gonna climb to 6,000 feet here. Let's come down here. Let's get our altitude dialed in. I'm using the altitude selector on my Honeycomb Bravo. All right, 6,000 feet set. That looks good. Let's go ahead and get the ILS frequency for our arrival. Set it up right now. Just get it out of the way. Let's come over here. We're going to come down here. We're going to go to nav. Let's get back down here. And on the standby, we're going to put in... Oh. We're going to put in 110.1. Enter there. That should be good to go. That's good. Same thing over here. We're going to put 110.10. Enter on that. Alright, so our frequencies are on standby for ILS-1 and ILS-2. That's all good. Alright, flight director's turned on. Source is set to FMS-1. That looks good. In the meanwhile, I know the course for our arrival is going to be... Come on. Let's get this flipped. Let's get our course dialed in here to 093, I believe. 091. Let's get that dialed in. Just getting some stuff out of the way ahead of time before we start boarding here. 091. Oh, I'm not really seeing too good. 095. Let's just dial it back to 91. Awesome. All right, so that's all good here. Looking good. We got all of that set. ILS is set up. EFB performance data is all good. All right, let's go ahead and board the aircraft. All right, let's go ahead and request a board in here from GSX. And let's see him load this aircraft. There's our flight attendant. She's gonna go over in the back here to greet our passengers boarding this LIAT flight. He's gonna go and get the bags. Looking good, looking good. All right, here comes our passengers. They're gonna begin boarding through the rear entrance of the aircraft. Few people heading to Barbados, getting some Chafette whilst they're over there. My favorite. None of my friends love Chafette, but I absolutely do. Dressed a little heavy, I would say, for the weather in Barbados right now. Those long sleeves will definitely not be required in Barbados. That much I could promise them right now. Barbados do be hot. Really, really, really hot. Alright, they just finished boarding the aircraft and setting up all the bags, so now let's jump back in and get ready for our departure, baby. Alright, so they just finished boarding the aircraft and loading up all the bags, so let's jump back in and get ready for departure. Alright, here we are back in the aircraft. Let's see if we could go ahead and set the minimum decision height. Boom. That should be 600. Not seeing it changing though. There we go. Needs to be 600 for our minimum decision height. Landing on runway 09 for the ILS in Barbados, according to the chart that I'm looking at. So that's all set. All right, let's jump also to set up our squawk code they gave us earlier. Where is that? Is that surveillance? There we go. All right, let's get our squawk set up. Put that over there. They gave us a code of 1724. So that should be 1724. Enter. That should now be in there. Looking good. Let's get it on. That's good. Alright, that's on. That's good. Switch back over here to nav. Alright, everything looks good here. Let's go ahead and request startup and get this
LIAT
aircraft
022,
closed up.
ramp 6 request engine start.
LIAT 022 engine start approved. Call when ready for taxi.
Wilco engine start approved. LIAT 022.
Alright, in the meanwhile, let's jump to the overhead. Let's get our beacon lights coming on. Both fuel pumps are already on. That's all good. Let's arm the doors. All the doors are closed now. Okay, let's get our taxi lights on, beacon lights on. Alright, let's get our prop brake ready. So we got to go down here. So what we're looking for is a little ready light here so we can turn on the prop brake. Let's go back to the throttle. We got to squeeze or press this hydraulic button here. So hopefully we get a ready light up there. Back, yep, there goes our ready light. Let's put the prop brake on. And let's get our starter set to start AB. And let's start engine number 2. Alright, we're looking for about 10 over here. We got 10. Alright, so we got well over 10 here on our NH%. Let's go ahead and bring the fuel in. So now you can see our lovely ATR setup here on my Honeycomb Bravo. And now the fuel is set to feather. And now we have our aircraft. And as you can see, our props are not spinning, but this is giving us power. Engine is giving us power. All right, now that's all good. Engine 2 is running. All right, let's go ahead and remove the GPU. GPU is getting dismissed. At the same time, we could go to EFB cam over here and get rid of DC power because we now have power from our right engine. Looking good. Let's turn the engine selector back to off for now. All right, that's all good. Let's go ahead and turn interrupt pushback. We don't need you guys to connect to our aircraft because we could just taxi out of here. All right, looking good. The right engine is running and it's giving us power. And you can see the blur back here, so that's all good. All right, let's go ahead, remove the chocks, and let's get the next engine started. So let's go ahead and start AB. Before that, let's get rid of the prop brake. So let's remove the gate, and we're gonna come back down here to the throttles. We're gonna push the hydraulics again until we get enough hydraulic power. See the ready. There we go. Turn the prop brake off. Cover the gate. It's unlinked. And if we come outside, we could see our prop is now spinning. Looking good. Looking good. All right. Let's go ahead and start the left prop here. We don't need this. Let's get the starter on. Come back down here. Once we see 10 on the NH%, we could go ahead and introduce the fuel to feather. That's good. That should be spinning up. Can't really see it here. There we go. She's spinning up. Looking good. Lovely, lovely. 2 good starts on our engines. Ready to leave St. Vincent and head to Barbados. Alright, let's get back in the aircraft here. Idle gate is pulled. That's good. Parking brake is still set. Let's go ahead and set 1 notch of flaps. That's good. Let's get our props into the auto position. Now they're gonna start spinning up a lot faster. There we go. Looking good, looking good. All right, go back to the overhead. So taxi lights are on. Strobe was not on. Put the strobe on. Taxi lights on. Landing lights are currently off. That all looks good. Parking brake is still set. Speeds are set to auto. Seat belts on, beacon on, starter. Let's turn the starter back to off position. Chalks are removed. TCAS is on. All right, I think we're ready to go taxi here. Let's request taxi to runway.
LIAT 022, request taxi to the active.
LIAT 022, runway 04, taxi via Bravo.
All right, taxi via Bravo.
Runway 04, taxi via Bravo, LIAT 022.
Very nice. Let's get our feet on the brake. And let's go ahead and release the parking brake. And let's get rolling. Turn on the head tracking. All right, let's say goodbye to St. Vincent and head over to Barbados. Chalks were removed, right? Yep, they were. They're off the brake. Just get a little bit of motion here. There we go. Let's roll, not too quickly, but let's roll. All right, there's our taxi line. Set via Bravo, let us look like Alpha, but that's fine. That's where the Beyond ATC map is sending us. Make sure to not go too quick.
LIAT 022, contact Argyle Tower 118.8.
All right, let's contact Tower.
Over to Tower 118.8, LIAT 022.
It's funny how they say LIAT, it's LIAT, but... And for
LIAT
those of
022,
y'all...
ready to aviate, runway 04.
Light 022, hold short of 04, arriving traffic.
Oh, we're holding short of 04, arriving traffic. Okay.
Affirm, hold short of 04 for traffic. LIAT 022.
Holding short of runway 04. Traffic. Where is the traffic? To the left or to the right? Don't see him right now. But let's hold short as instructed. Now we're on Bravo. Alright, let's hold short right here. Let's go ahead and set the parking brake. Parking brake is set. Where's the traffic? Holding for traffic. Good old Beyond ATC. Oh, there's the traffic coming in. Look at that. Aircraft is landing right now. Pretty cool. Beyond ATC. Pretty cool.
Island Way 703, exit left at Bravo.
Exit left at Bravo, Island Way 703.
So it's an inter-Caribbean aircraft that just landed here. Very nice. And here he goes exiting. Sweet, sweet.
Light 022, backtrack, runway 04. Colwyn ready for departure.
All right, there goes our backtrack instructions. We're ready to go.
Backtrack runway 04 call when ready. LIAT 022.
Looking good. Look at that. Beyond ATC is working a treat right now. Feet on the brakes. Let's go ahead and release the parking brake. And let's go. Get that tracking turned back on. Alright, we're gonna backtrack runway 04. Make sure nothing is on the runway. And nothing is. This is an airport I've definitely taken off from before, and a LIAT ATR-42 just like this. Flew in from Trinidad, landed here, and from here we flew actually to Barbados, like I'm about to do right now. So pretty cool stuff. This plane turns fairly well, so I can turn on a dime here. Again, flaps are set. Let's go. Prop full.
LIAT 022 ready for departure. Runway 04.
Light 022, Argyle Tower, runway 04 cleared for takeoff.
All right. Let's get heading mode armed. Couple of things here. Let's get this switch to D. Cleared for takeoff. Let's acknowledge that.
Runway 04 cleared for takeoff. LIAT 022.
Heading bucket straight ahead. IAS is armed. All right, cleared for takeoff. Let's go flying. All right, now we're ready to go. Cleared for takeoff. Rolling. Airspeed is alive. Positive rate here coming up. All right. weather is here. Let's go ahead, flaps, come up. Landing gear up. Following our flight plan
LIAT
there.
022, contact Argyle departure 120.8.
Alright, contact
Contact
that.
Argyle departure
Let's
120.8,
go nav mode,
LIAT
arm that.
022.
And let's go autopilot. Can't come on. Actually. That's my fault. There we go. Let's go arm nav mode again. L nav. Alright, let's get our wipers on. Oh, landing lights never came on. Rookie mistake here. Lights off. Where's the wipers? There's the wipers. Alright. Put my taxi lights on. Put my landing lights on. Rookie mistake there. Alright, the wipers can already come off. We're over the clouds. Let's get set up for climb power. Climb power. There we go. That's good. Now it's on the frequency.
Argyle, LIAT 022, flight level 055.
Flight 022, Argyle departure identified. Climb to flight level 100.
Alright, we're going up to 10,000 feet.
Climb to flight level 100, LIAT 022.
Wrong thing here. Altitude 10,000 feet. IAS mode again. So we're going to climb at 10,000. Good.
Flight 022, contact Pyreco radar 123.7.
Alright, let's acknowledge our
Contact
handoff.
Pyreco radar 123.7, LIAT 022.
Never set 10,000. Let's go up to 10,000. Now it's
Pyreco
our
radar,
frequency.
LIAT 022, through flight level 071, for flight level 100 direct Vincent.
Alright, looking good.
Flight 022, Pyreco radar identified. Climb to flight level 130.
Climbing up to 130. 13,000
Flight
feet.
022, Pyreco radar identified. Climb to flight level
Sorry, I
130.
acknowledge you, sir. Let's
Climb
acknowledge
to
you.
flight level 130, LIAT 022.
Alright, looking good. Here's our beautiful aircraft as she climbs over the clouds here. Absolutely beautiful. Everything's good from above the flight deck here. Let's get the landing lights off across 10,000 feet. It's all good. Overhead. Everything's looking good. Gonna leave the seatbelt sign on even though we're about to level off at 13,000 feet. Enjoy the beautiful Caribbean sun. Alright, we're at cruise altitude. Let's get cruise power set. Just did that. Just put our prop down to the auto position right here. Flaps are fully retracted. All is good here up in the flight deck. We could give them a little liberty and turn off the seat belts for now. Seatbelt signs went off. Everything's good up here. Looking out our window here. Passenger got the best seat in the house. Looking right at the props. I love this seat on an ATR. ATR-42 is such a beauty, and the 72 as well. Again, grew up flying this aircraft all over the Caribbean, and it's just such a joy to fly this aircraft in the sim. I've done this exact flight we're doing now from St. Vincent to Barbados on this exact aircraft type from LIAT before, so it's just pretty cool to get to fly this in the sim and check that stuff out. So one of the running jokes for LIAT used to be that the LIAT stand for Leave Island Anytime. That was a running joke for those of us who use this airline. But boy, do we miss her. We sure miss LIAT nowadays. I certainly do. And of course, today we are using Beyond ATC for our ATC.
ILS, Zulu runway 09er. Report ready for descent.
And right on cue, there goes Beyond ATC.
ILS Zulu runway 09er. Colon ready. LIAT 022.
The LIAT. The hell's a LIAT? It's LIAT, baby. So prior to these ATRs, LIAT used to use the Bombardier Dash 8s, the Q400s, for the operations, and then they upgraded to these ATRs. So pretty cool. Also flew a lot on those. Can't wait for one of those to come to sim. Hopefully get some cool liveries for those, but currently there's none in the sim right now. I know there is a Dash 8 in X-Plane, but alright, just about to get to our top of descent point here. At that point, we could go ahead and request descent.
LIAT 022 Grantley, Adams Airport landing runway 09er.
Runway 09 is the landing at
Grantley Adams Airport. Landing runway 09er, LIAT 022.
LIAT 022 descent to 3,000 feet.
There goes our descent instructions.
Descent to 3,000 feet, LIAT 022.
Alright, let's get the peripheral cam back on. Let's descend to 3,000 feet. Come on, 3,000 feet set. Let's go ahead and reduce the throttle. Let's go vertical speed mode, come on. And let's get some nose down action here. This aircraft, we're gonna reduce the throttle a lot more. And let's get some vertical speed in. In the meanwhile, let's switch our ILS over here to our landing ILS frequency, which is 110.1. That's all good. That is all good. As we descend here, let's continue to watch our speed. Let's bring this back to below 200. To about 180.
LIAT 022, contact Adams approach 128.85.
Alright, contacting Adams approach.
Contact Adams approach 128.85, LIAT 022.
All good, all good. Bouncer on
Adams, Lion
frequency.
022. Good morning.
All right, we're
Flight
about to
level
pass
104 with
10,000 feet.
information.
Let's
Oscar.
get the
Flight
landing lights
022
back
Adams
on.
approach. Expect the ILS Zulu runway 09er.
Yep, ILS.
Expect the ILS Zulu runway 09er Lion 022.
Oh, seatbelt sign should have been back
Flight
on.
022 cleared direct Toledo. Cross Toledo at or above 3,000 feet. Cleared ILS Zulu runway 09er.
All right, acknowledge that. We're cleared
Clear
direct
direct
to
Toledo. Cross
Toledo,
Toledo at or above 3,000 feet. Cleared ILS
which
Zulu
we are
runway
already
09er
headed
Lion
to. As we
022.
can see over here, we're currently headed to Toledo. All good. At or above 3,000 feet. We're taking the vertical speed mode down to 3,000 feet. Speed is okay. Continue to reduce throttles a little bit to idle. Let's do some more gear speed. But so far so good. Looking good as we descend into the Barbados airspace. Brantley Adams International. First thing we're gonna do is get some Chapette. Chapette is first. Alright, continuing our descent down to 3,000 feet. So far, so good. Once we get to about 180 knots, we could go ahead and bring in the first notch of flaps if we want to. And we're descending down very nicely. The speed is also coming down. We're just at 190 knots. About to approach 180 knots. Absolutely wonderful. Let's fix the zoom on here. Oh, that one to go back to the knee. All right. Looking good, looking good. Bring this back a little bit more. I want to get to 180 knots to bring in the first notch of flaps. I like prepping early for my landings because I always butcher them, so. Yeah, the earlier I get configured, or at least being prepped to be configured, the better for me. Just at a little below 4,000 feet, approaching 3,000 shortly here. Looking good, about 185 knots. And as the plane starts leveling off, we will continue to slow down because the throttle is at about idle. At that point, I'll put in one notch of flaps. Flaps 15. There we go, 102. Let's go one notch of flaps. Can't come in. Let's get you the view of that. Notch of flaps can't come in. Let's give it some throttle so we don't lose all our speed there as we stay at about 3,000 feet. Nice, she climb, don't climb, baby, don't climb. Stay right there. Alright, one notch of flaps is in as we break through these clouds here, and Barbados starts coming in sight. Not yet, it's over up to our left. Island Barbados.
Adams, fraction 024 Golf. Good morning, 1,600 feet.
Fraction 024 Golf, Adams departure identified. Climb to flight level 190.
Climb to flight level 190, fraction 024 Golf.
Fraction 024 Golf, resume all navigation.
Roger, resume all navigation. Fraction 024 Golf.
Alright, let's see. Good. Alright. Still heading to Toledo. I don't have to be flying this slow, but doing it by choice, just so I'm coming in nice and easy. But of course, you'll be flying this part a little faster, but that's okay with me. It's quite alright, unless ATC gives you any issues, in which case you would speed back up, but I'm good with that. Second notch of flaps already in. Prepping early. Way too early, but I'm okay with that. Completely okay with that. Alright, we're about to pass through Toledo and make a left turn at Toledo onto our final approach course here. And let's go ahead and have the approach.
Flight 022, contact Adams Tower 118.7.
Adams Tower, okay.
Over to Tower 118.7, line 022.
Alright, so approach mode is armed. Let's get our head and bug set. Let's go to head in mode. And then switch over to our VOR. And capture that glide slope, baby. What am I doing? Going on my autopilot. She's descending, but don't know why I can't go into on the glide slope, interestingly. No idea what's going on here. Overspeeding as well. Why go to low? Everything's set up correctly. She's descending, but for some reason glide slope, okay. There we go. I believe it's doing what it needs to now. Glide slope is armed. It's on the glide slope. It's just behaving really, really odd. Don't know why. Let's go throttle to come almost idle here. Final notch of flaps. Let's go. Landing gear can come down. Let's go ahead and turn the autopilot off. Because we're coming in way too low. Not like that, but that's okay. We could bring her in manually. That's quite alright. Also, power needs to go back to takeoff power here. Landing gear is down. A little slow, but okay with that. Oh, I never announced I want to.
Adams Tower, LIAT 022, ILS Zulu runway 09er.
Oops.
LIAT 022, Adams Tower, runway 09er cleared to land.
Alright, cleared to land. Runway 09.
Cleared to land. LIAT 022.
Let's watch the glide slope. Slow that glide slope down. Alright, let's see what we could do with this landing here. Cleared to land, runway 09. Very high here. Let's go idle on the throttle. Just a little above idle as we descend here to catch back the glide slope. Alright. Just about to hit minimums. Yep. Continuing. A little low. Also a little too much energy there. Let's go ahead and get her on the center line. ATR pilots are probably like, what is this guy doing? Alright, okay, long enough runway here. Let's go ahead and set that to idle. Ooh. Bring her down nicely. Ooh, hard landing. Very hard landing there. Terrible landing. Get reversed out. But
LIAT 022, exit next available taxiway.
I don't know what happened there. That landing wasn't good at all. Down safely. Passengers will probably not fly LIAT anymore. Well, in reality, they can't anymore anyway. I feel like something's been off of my rudder pedal. So I don't know what it is.
LIAT 022, exit next available
Yes, I'll
taxiway.
exit left, sir. You got it. You got it.
Exit next available taxiway, LIAT 022.
It's in the taxiway yet, sir. Where the hell is the taxiway? Am I missing up? Haven't seen one yet. There goes the taxiway. The rudder pedals are all over the place. Alright, let's make this left turn over here. Alrighty. Off the runway.
LIAT 022, contact ground 121 decimal niner.
Ground 121 decimal niner, LIAT 022. Have a good morning.
Start cleaning up the aircraft. Request taxi to assign ramp.
LIAT 022, request taxi to allocated ramp.
LIAT 022, ramp Victor 1 taxi via Alpha, Charlie.
Alright, you got it, boss. You got it.
Ramp Victor 1 via Alpha, Charlie, LIAT 022.
Sir, yes, sir. Where the hell do they have us parking at? So, welcome to Barbados. Make a left turn here anyway, Charlie. Let's go find our parking spot and get ready for some chauffeur. Get ready for some chauffeur. Let's get the landing lights off, taxi lights come on. That landing, I don't know. I've done smoother landings in the ATR than that. For sure, many a time. That one was not good today. But we're here on the ground. We'll watch it in the replay, of course, in a second. Slow down a little bit. Jeez, they got us parking far. They got us parking all the way at the end. Some random spot. I don't know about that. I might take a different parking here. I might take a completely different parking spot here. Screw Beyond ATC. I'm going to take my own parking spot. Where LIAT typically parks when they park. They come over here. The terminal is right in front of us, so why would we go all the way to some cargo spot? Yeah, let's come over here and we'll take a parking spot somewhere over here. I don't care. Right at a spot according to this map. Let's go for ramp 5. Should be this next line over here. First. Parking right there. Let's go. Parking brake set. Set the props to feather. Let's get. Yep, they're in feather. Let's get our prop brake on. So let's turn off engine number 1. Get that shut off. And let's get prop brake set here. Some hydraulic going. Still not ready. More hydraulic going. Let's pull that out. Let's get the idle gear. Let's get that set. Come on. Give me some. There we go. It's ready. And we're going to turn the prop brake on. And that should go ahead and stop the spinning of the right prop. There she goes. And the left continues to power down. There it goes. Very good. So we're still getting power, but at this point we could go ahead and turn on the external power over here like so. Let's get the chalk set. That prop is still spinning. Meanwhile, we'll open our doors. Can't open that one because the prop is still have a little bit of rotation on it. All right. I believe we have external power now from our, so let's go ahead and get that on. And at this point, we could also turn off the right engine. We'll leave it on, that's fine. Let's see if we, let's stop spinning, still spinning. Cargo doors opening up. Let's see if GSX could D-board. And welcome to Barbados. Everybody, you can start getting ready for your Chevette. This was our fun little flight from St. Vincent over to Barbados. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Bringing back some classic LIAT ops. Pick up my boy Brent. I know you love this one. Pick up Junior as well. Everybody, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Hopefully we can do a better line than we did today. Usually they tie that prop down. All right, see you guys next time. Peace.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Check out one of these videos next.